Hi. So, this is my first video, but hello. This is gonna be very awkward, but hi, my name's Crow. Uh, this is my first video, as I already said, so we're probably gonna get started pretty soon. This is just fan art that I'm making for my friend. So yeah, let's get on with the speed paint. Okay. Yeah, this is gonna be really awkward. I don't know what I'm doing, but my friend's character is a dragon that was originally modeled off of Charizard, I believe. I'm not quite sure on the details. But, um, I decided that since this character was split into two different colors, half and half, I would take a few artistic liberties and give them two heads. I got permission, of course, but whatever. Um, so I'm giving the dragon two heads, and when I started off, I was gonna make it quadrupedal, like a typical, like, dragon with four legs all on the ground, a long tail, and wings. And I do change that eventually. You'll see it. But I started off by like once I finished drawing like the base, I started drawing the heads, and one of them's blue, the other one's red. So I decided that for this, I would do like a kind of fire and ice theme. It's subtle, but it's there. So I made the horns and like the general shape of the blue head look more like icicles and sharp. And it's blue. You can see that. I don't know what I'm doing. Um, but here you can see me change it to more of like a wyvern, but with four legs and wings still, but like more of an upright stance is what I'm trying to say. And once I start drawing the other head, the red one, it's a bit more stereotypical and like the spiky like horns of a dragon with like the classic red theme and like basically just like normal Western dragons. And then I draw the torso, which is oddly thin, but we're not going to talk about that. Um, and then I draw the limbs, legs, like legs and arms, which are standard, like that. I do take one during my sketches. I do color each individual part or like section of the drawing. Um, Different colors because it helps me differentiate when I eventually go for like line art and such. I had a bit of trouble with the wings and the feet. Uh, you'll see eventually that I just ignore the feet altogether. But uh, if you heard that, that was me cracking my knuckles. Sorry, but yeah, I had a lot of trouble with the feet, so I just decided to not draw them. It's me being lazy, but still, it's my art. I started adding more spikes. These are on the original one, not to this extent, but it's it's fun. I had trouble with the hands too, but I did keep those because yeah, I did have a few different variations of like what I wanted to pose them as, but eventually I just went for just like basic like three-fingered, like four-fingered actually. Uh just like resting position. For the wings, I did have a little trouble as you might have seen earlier with like the way I wanted the membranes to be shaped, but I settled on this spiky part. It's a very spiky dragon. It's fun. Here you can see I started the line art. This is before I got a little feedback from my friend who's the maker of the character. But my line art's pretty standard. I just go over what I had in my sketch and like just make the lines seem a bit better and more uniform, which is what I'm doing. And then I add like a few like smaller lines to differentiate between patterning, but I don't do a lot of that in this one. Um, but you can see me like detailing like the spikes, the arms, the fingers, like all of that. Um, a lot of times I do color my line art, but not in this one. Not in this art, just because I didn't feel like it. You'll see me go back and change the tip of the tail a bit because I felt like that was a bit like not enough. And here's where you'll see me starting to add feathers because I was told by the original maker of this, my friend, that their character had feathers, so I added them. And I put them, you can see me doing that, I put them along like the head and neck, uh, on the tail, and a few on the arms as well. You'll see that in a minute. It's fun. I like feathers. They're a bit tedious to make, but they're fun when you eventually get to them. Like, get them done and, like, finished. I don't know what I'm saying here. Holy yap. But you'll see me do some, like, along, like, the spine here and, like, down the tail, which I was going to add originally, but I may or may not have forgotten to add those feathers in the line art. So I ended up not using them because I didn't remember they were here until I was rewatching the speed paint and realized I drew those feathers. So I didn't add those in the line art, which was a little unfortunate. But I started drawing the eyes. They're the same on both heads. It's normal. And I did color them a bit weirdly, but that's just because like I wanted to differentiate. Those are like the last things I do. And then you can see me doing like the feather line art and adding it into like the rest of it because I forgot to draw them. And we're gonna get to coloring soon, but here you can just see me like messing around and like adding the feathers to the like arms and tail and such. And it's just like going over the line art and making sure it works. And here you can see I start coloring, finally. Coloring is one of my favorite parts of doing this, and the coloring on this character is pretty simple compared to some of my other artwork. But I did have a lot of fun with the feathers, because the feathers are random and got a bunch of different color variations. It's great. I did merge the two necks, like, from individual colors into the light blue that's on the original character, because the original character does not have two heads. But the feathers, as I said, were very fun to do. Because, a lot of the other coloring on this character is pretty simple, it's just, like, solid coloring. But, the feathers, you could add, like, various different, like, hues and opacities, well, not opacities, like, darker and lighter stuff on them, as well as a few, like, adjacent colors on the wheel, and it's very fun. I added a yellow stripe, and then that led into the yellow part of the tail, which was very fun. And I put all of the feather colors on the tail because it was mixing together. The wings were also light blue, and this isn't in the original design, but I did end up putting a yellow outline across the wings because I just thought it looked cool, but there's really no other reason for that other than I thought it looked nice. But, it did take me a little bit to get that to a spot that I liked, but you can't really see it in the speed paint. And here's where I make my excuse of not drawing the feet, where I add, like, a little smoke using, like, the effects that you get on Procreate, which is what I use. Uh, and this is essentially just some formatting, my signature, you know, stuff like that, and it's done. That is my fan art for one of my friends, who I will have linked in the description. He's not on YouTube, but he has some other sites that he's on that I will link down below. I hope this was fun. I hope I wasn't too, like, rambly, a little annoying, but whatever. I just kind of had to fill the space a bit. If you liked the video, please go down and leave a like, and maybe even subscribe if you liked it enough to see me do more stuff like this in the future, because I will. I'm not just gonna leave one video and disappear off the face of the earth. But yeah, like and subscribe. Hope you had a good time. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.